I couldn't have been anybody.
Right. Quality 101.
These items are the healthcare.
So it's at 11, which was healthcare, and item 11.9.
So is it the
Do you want to announce it?
portal store up there, Toby Trailhead? One guy there was a cook I was talking to. Like, you be one? I was like, yeah. It's like, you can be on that wall across the way. So I got up the next morning, got a binocular. Two guys on ropes. I mean, it's,
I've seen that in Yosemite,
yeah, it's that kind of climbing.
that kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's big. Long. It's all just right there. I got up on the like, oh, do you?
Not me.
I didn't get up early. I did wake up early one day and I got Venus and Venus.
Yeah, they're separated now.
Yeah.
Thank you for participating in today's meeting. If attending in person, please do not connect to Zoom or teleconference while in the room, and please silence all devices. If translation is provided, click on the globe at the bottom of your screen to select either English or Spanish. Public comment will be taken after each item. If you're in the auditorium and wish to comment, please use the iPads located in the lobby or complete a blue speaker card as available. If you need assistance, please find a South Coast AQMD employee. Speakers may be limited to a total of 3 minutes or less for all agenda items. Times may be shortened to ensure all speakers can be heard. A countdown timer will be displayed on the screen for each public comment. More time will be allotted for Spanish translation that is not simultaneous. For questions or issues on making a public comment, please call the public advisor at 909-396-3247. That's 909-396-3247. Please adhere to the speaker time limit and treat others with courtesy, civility, and respect. Failure to do so can result in your mic being muted or you being removed from the meeting. Be aware that this meeting is being recorded. By participating, you authorize recording of audio and visual content presented during the live event and consent to subsequent use of the recording in the public domain by South Coast AQMD.
Good morning, everybody. Good to see everybody. I can't believe we're here talking about the September board meeting. This year is flying by. All right. Let's start with our agenda item 1, which is review of the board agenda for September 5th. Before I start that review of that, I just want to announce that there's a couple of items that were added after our admin committee. So that would be item 29, which is the permitting updates on Rule 1109.1. And then also item 11, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So just noting that for the record. Okay, with that, let's turn to our review of the agenda. We'll start on page 9, and the first one is item 29, and I'll turn that over to Jason Aspel.
All right, good morning, everyone. This item is our regular annual permitting update for Rule 1109.1. As for NOx emissions from petroleum refineries and related operations. As a reminder, this is a rather significant reclaim amending rule that affects about 300 pieces of equipment at 16 facilities and is expected to result in about 6.5 tons of NOx emission reductions per day. And there was flexibilities built into the rule, crafted around each of the facilities, timelines and commitments, and they had to submit implementation plans. The incoming permit applications more or less held to form as was expected during the rule making. We've received about 188 applications so far since the rule adoption. We've acted on 124 of those, and many others are still in the pipeline. And staff expects that the majority of the applications that have been received thus far will get issued in 2026. This periodic reporting was requested by the board at the time of the adoption, just to make sure, because of the large workload and pandemic staffing, that staff was able to address that workload and get permits out, which we've been able to do. And then additionally, we brought up this report a little bit earlier and bringing it to the full board, just as a proactive measure, given the current nature of discussions at the state level regarding refinery operations. Take any questions.
What question? It's a little off, so maybe, but has the 2024 mission been lifted to the fine system yet?
I'm sorry, what was it? Can you repeat the question?
Have the emissions been
The AER emissions, I think.
in the fine system?
Oh, has the annual emissions been updated from 2024 into find?
No, I don't think
No.
so.
Yeah.
No, that's a process, so yeah.
I think for refinery operations, yeah, I think 2023 is the most recent.
That would make sense, yeah. Okay, any other questions for,
So the reclaim universe was 17 tons a day, or is that what we cut it to, or 6.5 tons a day is a lot.
yeah, it is a lot.
So where's reclaim now? All those facilities?
I don't know off the top of my head, I'd have to go
Used to
back.
be like 25,
Yeah,
and
it's
then
coming
we
down.
cut it down to
It's
17, it was
definitely
actually gonna get
coming
down to 12 or something?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
There's not a lot left to squeeze out of that universe.
Yeah, the shave has been fully implemented. The allocations versus actual emissions is actually very close. The prices have come down for those reclaim trading credits.
Okay.
Okay, all right, let's move on to the next item. So the next four items, these are public hearing items. These are four different rules, but we're bringing them kind of as a package. And this is a requirement for most stringent measures under the Clean Air Act. We're asking EPA for an time extension for our PM attainments plan. And as part of that process, when you ask for a time extension, you have to go ahead and then demonstrate that all of your rules are as stringent as other rules that are on the books in other parts of the country. So we went through all of our rules and we came up with four that needed to be strengthened a little bit. These are just harmonizing them with requirements that are already in place in other parts of California. So they are relatively minor rules, but I do want to impress that we are bringing them across as a package. They do need to be adopted for this Clean Air Act requirements, and we do need to move forward with them. I'm happy to answer any questions about any of the specific rules. Again, keep in mind, these are all fairly minor, fairly low cost.
Hey, Sarah, this is Guillermo. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. On item number 32, dealing with chipping and grinding composting operations, how many facilities do you estimate will be affected with these new regulations regarding the supply?
I don't know, Chris, do you have that information?
Like 90,
What was that?
roughly 90.
About 90 facilities.
90, okay. And then second question, you in the proposed amendment rule, you say that you'll introduce composting best practice management practices. Do you know when you expect to publish those practices?
So they're already public.
They're already published, is that what you said?
Yeah, they're, sorry, this is Mike Morris, Planning and Rules Manager. We've already released the draft rule language. And so those best management practices are already publicly available on our website, and we'll be releasing them as part of this process with the public hearing.
Okay, great, thank you.
So is this an extension for the 12 standard, or?
This is for the 12, so the 12 microgram per meter cube standard, yes.
Sarah, this is Debbie.
Go ahead, Debbie.
Hi, just have you received any letters or any comments during the process on the chipping rule from facilities or from arborists or others that deal with composting in opposition or with any concerns?
So once again, Mike Morris, Planning and Rules Manager. So we've been working closely with arborists and such. We haven't had any concerns about the proposal that we have going forward. It's mostly just a requirement that they let people know who are taking the material, the green waste, that they have to use it properly. They can't just illegally dispose of it. Using it properly, meaning that they provide it to an agriculture source that uses it as it's intended, or that it's windrow composted with a cap or some other method that meets our rules. Which are existing. Yeah, then those are all existing requirements.
Okay, thank you.
And the reductions for all these rules are not a lot.
No, I'm like this. So MSM is not about reducing emissions, although we would expect we get like a tiny little bit of emission reductions from this. It's really about making that demonstration that your rules are as stringent as other requirements across the country, because you are asking for that extension of time by which you're attaining the standard.
And while you say across the country, you really mean other parts of California.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's other parts of California because we tend to have the most strict requirements in place. But it was kind of surprising going through this analysis. I'm like, there were restrictions in place in the Imperial Valley, for example, where they were more stringent than us on some of these. So we incorporated those.
You mean all 2 district employees out there?
Yes.
It's more than that.
Okay, don't tell Brad I said that.
Yeah.
Any other questions on these package of rules? Okay, seeing none, let's flip to the beginning of the agenda, on page 3. Right. So on the set hearing items, we have Rule 301, and Mike Kraus, do you want to cover that?
Sure, thank you for that. So as you know, in the spring, the board adopted the latest budget and a number of the fee changes that we make in our Regulation 3, which is our key regulation. However, there was one area that we did pull out for further discussion. These are involving the cost recovery fees that we have for community air monitors that are required under our Rule 1180 and 1180.1. As a reminder, those are the fence-side monitoring rules around refineries and refinery operations. Through these last couple of months, we've gone having discussions with WISPA and refineries regarding those costs and justifications for those, et cetera. We have revised those costs, and we're now bringing those back to the board for approval. In addition, because it's an additional revenue that we would be getting that was not initially introduced to the board, we'll be reminding the board of that as well.
Okay, questions for Mike? All right, we're gonna move on to our next items. So the next 5 items are errands. So it's a banner day for you. Why don't you go ahead and run us through them?
Thanks, Sarah. So the first one is to add funds to the commercial lawn and garden programs, $5 million from the firmware program. Also, this board letter is to add $200,000 to support a residential EV charging program for low-income eligible residents. And then also recognize funding from the Colorado State Reserve Fund, so just over $5 million. So every year we get 10% or 10% of the firmware funds get set aside by California, the state of California, the CARB, to go into categories of their interest. And so this year they're focusing on EV technologies, and their desire is to have these funds go into Inflation Ride program. So we'll like to go back to the board here in the near future. I'll pause there if any questions on that.
Yes. How many cities are involved with this? Because it seems that your most sensitive people, kids, are using the parks and schools, etc. Do we have many cities involved with this?
The lawn and garden, commercial lawn and garden. Yes, we do actually. So a lot of the applicants for this program are the school districts, and then a lot of the landscape companies that contract with the cities. Moving on to number 4, these are some administrative items for the Invest Clean grant program. So this is the $500,000 award that we've received from the EPA. We're making a contract change going from the National Renewable Energy Lab to UC Irvine to help us with the data recording, collection, emission reduction calculations. Just the contracting process went from one government agency to another was pretty difficult and involved. So this change kind of expedites our process in the contract. Also adding funds to kind of an account that helps pay out for the last mile delivery program that SCAG is going to be administering for us. So this account of 1.5 million is going to help us expedite the payment of the rebates while we pull down from the EPA funds so we can get the funds out quicker. And I'll pause there. Questions on that? Not seeing any, I'll keep going here. The item number 5 is to issue an RFP for 2 awards received from the EPA for the clean heavy duty vehicle funding opportunity. One is Care for Kids, the others are electric. Care for Kids is implementing electric school buses in several districts. Electric is going to administer some class 5 and 6 electric vehicles. And so these RFPs, they're each for $500,000 opportunity a piece. And we can award multiple applicants these RFPs contracts, really to help with workforce development and training, to help train drivers on these vehicles, and then workforce development technicians, others to help repair these vehicles, and also supporting the infrastructure, maintaining and installing things like that.
So are there vendors that provide this training, or are like transit agencies going to do this in-house with consultants? Or?
Yeah, so a lot of, with our mobile lights and our Josie projects with the Class 8 electric trucks, there's a lot of community colleges that have technician training programs for repair and maintenance.
From electric.
And we're hearing there's just a shortage of technicians all the way from diesel, the whole chain is just in short supply right now. So this can help with those types of programs. Part of this also is to help the drivers of these buses and trucks also understand the technologies. We've heard from those that have these trucks and buses that the way you drive them makes a big difference on how long the range goes. So that also helps see training there. So that's part of this process to help train the drivers.
So, question, they're going to go ahead and disseminate the money to the junior colleges? I'm not quite.
So they can apply, junior colleges are eligible. Also trade organizations are eligible. So it's open.
Okay, it's open, right?
Wide, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Item number 6 is to make a little administrative change. In the past, our program announcements have kind of limited the natural gas engines to 0.02 grams of NOx per brake horsepower. That's used to be what was certified. The engine manufacturer Cummins no longer certifies these engines 0.02 as a business change that they made. So they're only certified at 0.05 right now. The 0.05 engines are allowed in VW programs. So we have quite a few applications and past awards we've made that we'd like to receive with contracts. So some of these are like cement mixers, things that don't have alternative technologies available. We'd like to be able to fund them at the 0.05 level. There is a reduction in the award. We go from 0.02 to 0.05, but 0.05 is all that's on the market right now for the low NOx engines. So no questions on that. Going to number 7, the last one will be done here. This is just an administrative item to allow us to pay for some contracts that were some projects that were finished quite a while ago. There was some extensive back and forth on final reports and invoices, and so we finally got that all wrapped up. They just need to.
Yeah, real quick, on number 6, I thought I heard you say at the end there that there's a reduction in the amount of funding because of the change in the level.
Yeah, so 0.02 to 0.05, even though technically the 0.05 engines are the same as the 0.02, it's just they didn't go through the certification process, they bring that low. So the incentive programs recognize, you know, if you go from 0.02 to 0.05, there's a reduction because the emission reductions are not as great.
So what will that represent in actual dollars?
Oh,
In terms of reduction.
spot.
If you know.
I think it's like a $20,000 reduction, so it might have been like a $60,000 award, represent 40,000 or 30,000, maybe 50%.
Thanks.
Okay, great. Thanks for that, Aaron. Let's move on to the next item. We have item number 8, and this is Jason Lowe's.
All right, thank you, Sarah. Good morning, everyone. So for this item, Phillips 66 Wilmington Refinery is using an optical tent air monitoring system as part of its fence line air monitoring network as part of its Rule 1180 obligation. UCLA is conducting the oversight for quality assurance and quality control for this air monitoring system and has a contract with South Coast AQMD to do that. Thus, this item is to amend the existing contract with Phillips 66 to extend the use of the optical tent as their fence line air monitoring system, recognize and appropriate $175,000 in the monitoring analysis budget to support that contract for UCLA for 1 more year. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Remind me, optical tent, the terminology I'm not.
Sure. So usually fence line air monitoring systems that use open path, meaning it measures along the fence line or wall of a refinery boundary. The optical tent allows it to rotate not just along the fence line, but also to start above the refinery itself. So it kind of captures pollutants that would go up and over the refinery as opposed to just crossing the boundary.
Is that the only refinery they're doing that at?
Yes, it was part of a technical demonstration, part of the Mix 5.
You getting any interesting results that are surprising or interesting or?
I think it's fair to say that, you know, there's sometimes there's VOC emissions that are captured by the optical tent that are sometimes not seen by the fence line air monitoring. So it's a great demonstration project. I think it was to the benefit of the refinery as well as give us good insight in terms of what types of emissions.
Okay, great. Thanks for that, Jason. Next item number 9. And so this is to just adopt a resolution and recognize revenue for continued AB 617 implementation. I don't know if we have anybody from finance on this to discuss.
I don't see anybody.
But it's fairly straightforward item. Okay, moving on. Item number 10. I believe this is Ron's.
Thank you, Sarah. Good morning. This action is to authorize the executive officer to execute a contract with Microsoft Cloud Services with a vendor for a period of 3 years, an estimated cost of $950,000, depending on usage. Sufficient funding for the first year is included in our fiscal year 2025-26 budget, and funding for the remaining 2 years will be included in subsequent fiscal year budget requests. And happy to answer questions.
Seeing no questions for Ron. Moving on to item 11. Again, this is the one that we added since admin, and this is for John.
Hi, good morning. This item is to approve an additional $110 to the monthly contribution toward health insurance premiums for Teamsters and non-represented employees. This is going to help cover increases to the 2026 insurance rates. Happy to answer any questions.
Seeing no questions, let's flip the page. We go to item 12. This is just the MSRC item. Aaron, anything to report there?
Nothing to report, just 2 items on there that are just briefly mentioned. One is that there was an item action to enter into an agreement with LA Metro to seek funding from the California Transportation Commission for truck charging, some partnership there. They also will be releasing their RFP for a technical advisor, maybe that every 2 years.
Questions on that item? Okay, moving on. We'll go to our information only receive and file items. So this is 13 through 20. Any questions on these?
So rule and control measure, just the Mark Taylor memorial question. That one.
Somebody had to do it.
Ports is November?
December.
December, that's
So
right, sorry, never
we're
mind.
coming up to mobile source and we'll have a
And it's
report
a
out on
75
mobile
days, so
source.
that gets us to
And
December.
so then.
45.
45, okay.
Consent break. you're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about,
yeah.
Oh, the 75-day rule package. I
Right.
thought you meant the timing or go, no go? The September.
The 19th, right. But the actual meeting, I mean, the board meeting will be December.
December.
Yes.
Gotcha, okay.
Questions on these? All right, moving on to items 21 through 27. These are just reports to committees. Any question on those?
Oh, for Ledge, any update on SB 34? Oh, it's going to hearing soon.
It's
I gotta
right
notice it.
now at approach, but I'm gonna let Lisa say the status.
Hi, good morning. This is Naka, Deputy for Legislative and Public Affairs. So SB 34 is currently on the Assembly Appropriation Suspense file, and the hearing is this Friday, October 29th.
Okay. That'll be fun. Very professional for fun.
Okay, I think that concludes our review of the board agenda. Any other questions before we get a public comment on that item? Okay, look and see if there's public comment on item number 1, review of the board agenda for September 5th. Looks like Rita Luth's her hand raised. Is that correct? Rita, go ahead.
Good morning. Thank you so much. Rita Loof, Director of Environmental Affairs for RATIC International. And my comment would be on, I apologize about that. My comment would be on the rule forecast measure report. Essentially, the district has announced 12 new rules that are all VOC rules. They will impact our industry. And we're very concerned about some of the requirements. Purportedly, these rules deal with TBAC and PCBTF, but our materials don't have those toxic compounds. The situation is complicated by the fact that some time ago, EPA issued a proposed disapproval on our test methods specifically for metal coatings. And metal coatings, Rule 1107, is one of the rules that is being amended. So these rules contain additional labeling provisions. And so our industry is essentially required to put a VOC content on a label when we don't know how to calculate or how to report, I should say, that VOC content because the district has essentially thrown out the test method. And I should point out that EPA subsequently removed their proposed disapproval as it was moot because the district took action before EPA did anything. And we're essentially left in limbo. So we're hoping to work some accommodations out with the staff because it is very concerning for our industry, and also to basically puzzle matters even more. The test method is approved for graphic arts, and for purposes of VOCs, the method should apply to a metal coating just like it does to a graphic arts coating. The materials don't really know what substrate they're going to be applied to. They simply get tested. So thank you so much for your time, and I apologize for that interruption. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita, for your comments. We'll take that under advisement. Okay, not seeing any other public comment on item number 1 at this point. We move on to item number 2 on our agenda, other business. Any other business we need to raise?
So the virtual meeting is tonight on the ports?
Correct. Yeah.
Any update you can provide or?
The slides are on, and we'll update everybody.
I'll just say the discussions are ongoing, which is a good sign. I would say that this week is probably a very important week as we start getting into more of the substantive issues. So,
Public in-person meeting, has that been scheduled yet?
That has not been scheduled yet.
Okay.
Okay, and we move on to item number 3. This is a general public comments. Any general public comment, folks, at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll move towards adjournment. Thank you, everybody, for today, and we'll see you at the board meeting.